this the wood grain of a chisel and a hammer. The door opens. It's just a little bit of lantern light pours in, and the guard captain steps forward. You know, this all could stop. All you have to do is admit that you are licentious. You were born a reprobate. You are a stain upon the world. That you are a festering wound whose soul yearns to be purified by the morning Lord's light. Simply utter it, and it'll end. You can hear the iron sabatons stepping around him as he clink, clink, screeches each time he walks around you. Admit it, and you will be purified. A decrepit soul cannot admit when they are truly, truly dirty. What say you?
I have the morning Lord's life within me.
So, you continue to lie. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Curse of Strahd Deliverance, Wounds. And I would like to first preface this by saying that today's episode, as opposed to others, is going to be quite graphic and quite gritty. I apologize to anyone who's weak of stomach or, overall maybe triggered by some things. So there you go. Another thing, Moonasaur will not be joining us today. It's just the 3 you see before you. He's with family, and we hope he has a lot of fun. Because certainly we will today. I come first to... No. Jedi, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I play Lumiere. She is a half-elf druid of stars and a bit of an astronomer and tends to become pretty angry these days.
Yes, well, when you have those around you that seem to always be getting in your way, I can understand. I come next to Joe Jellyfish. Introduce yourself.
Joe, and I will be playing Benedict, a tiefling paladin on his mission to become human again.
And we come to the man of the hour. Josh, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Josh, and for the moment, I will be playing Lithril, who is a satire, College of the Spirits bard, who's found himself in a little bit of a precarious situation.
It seems so. Well, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? If it takes a second. The struggling sun peers through its curtains of overcast to watch the display that is currently in Vallaki. A show it has seen oh so many times. Lithril, you are wrenched forward as a gruff voice booms, "Keep up, reprobate." A swift jerk of his arm and the crude iron shackles dig into your wrists as your hooves slip in mud. Your knees plummet into a puddle as it splashes over you. Your scarves so colored now sullied with brown and black earth. Your scarves unfurl as it seeps into the brown, rippling water. And as it begins to subtly settle, you find yourself in a moment to yourself. Everything seems to stop as you stare at yourself. It is in this clarity you come to a realization that you are alone. Another swift jerk at your shackles and the tautness of your flesh cause you to raise your head, and you get to see who's around you. Eyes of strangers that fall upon you, they look at you in disgust, some in horror, and some in utter contempt. And then your eyes are captured by that of the guards who have bound you. They foam at the sides of their mouths, a wild look in their eyes, salivating as if they're ready to devour a prey. And at the epicenter is the ringleader, the guard captain who's labeled you. His armor is dull, yet it retains some shine. His appearance is dark and regal, his face is stone, and that is what truly strikes you in this moment. Everyone else around him is animated. To him, to you, you're just another reprobate, just another day. Yet again, you feel that pain at your shoulders return as it forces you to your feet. The people are spitting towards you, tossing rocks and pebbles, and they yell these nonsensical words. It's hard to hear over the sound of a tolling bell as you approach the chapel. The arched doorway, the stained glass symbol, it's currently dull. The sign of the morning lord is just sitting in the center in the midst of these purples and greens. And your eyes peer up further past that to the steeple, where you can see the bronze bell tolling as the doors to the chapel open. You can see the marble flooring, you can see the polished pews, and the father stepping through the center. You kind of maneuver yourself as much as you can, look beyond the guard's wide shoulder to see inside the chapel, looking for some sort of salvation, and your eyes fall upon the father. You see his eyes are immediately filled with sadness as he watches you pass. Every other sound is like static to you, but the only thing that pierces through is the loud creak of the church doors closing to you. Your eyes lock as you linger, and the door shuts as the father takes his eyes from you, lost beyond the threshold. In this moment, as you're moving, how are you feeling, Ithro?
Very very sad at what these people are doing. He doesn't hold it against them on a personal level, just that they're being told wrong things, that they're misguided. And he's kind of regretful in the way he's managed to get himself in this situation. He's thinking, if I'd approached the guard captain with a bit more of a level head, he wouldn't be in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if he didn't react so knee-jerkly and instinctively, then he would have then things would have gone differently.
So as you begin to think and ponder about the situation that you've gotten yourself into, you feel a swift strike to the back of your head. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as the swift hit from the guard behind you. Keep moving. As the shackles, the chains clink yet again as you're pulled forward. You begin to notice that the crowd begins to thin out, and this walk feels like it's been going on for an eternity. Your eyes dart as you notice you're still within city limits, but it's gotten quieter. You see that the buildings are becoming more and more seldom, and civilization is suddenly replaced by a strong stench, all too familiar from since you've been in Barovia. You see the guards raise their hands and they cover their face, except for the captain. His gait never slows. He's undeterred. And as he walks forward, your head slightly raises and you can see where you are heading. as if his head is above him is a horizon beyond his shoulders, you see this large building made of marble and iron and stone, standing 4 stories. The company surrounding you suddenly stops with their nose and mouths they wrap their nose and mouths with cloths. And you see they stop in front of this large steel door with 2 other guards, their mouths and noses wrapped in cloth. You see they take a second to salute to the captain. You didn't hear the metal clank and screeching as the door is unlocked and the doors are bowled open, the screaming of steel as you look beyond them, wanting to cover your mouth from this terrible stench. You see inside this decrepit building. It's you see the marble floors and old creaking wood, and the building just seems like it was as if it was dipped into water and then pulled out. That's how moist and glistening everything is. It's odd. You can see these crude sconces sitting on the walls, still flicking with dull flame as the orange kind of pulls out beyond the threshold. You're pulled in as the doors loudly thud behind you, reverberating in the steel. You see that as they all the other guards inside salute again, and they say, "Welcome, Captain Milosevic," in unison. The captain salutes back, drops his arm. "I have a new reprobate ready for purification." You watch as another guard on the wall lowers his hands from the salute and then pulls this rough-strewn rope. You then hear a bell chime in the distance. Then you begin to feel this dread sit upon your shoulders, the weight pushing you down. And you realize that this dread is getting heavier and heavier as you hear these dull thuds drawing ever closer. You hear another door open, close, and then your eyes are fixed toward this other steel door on the opposite side of the room. As you see this glint of eyes in the darkness beyond this corridor, beyond that door, the door opens as it suddenly seems to darken as this behemoth steps out. His face is bulbous, covered in warts. His teeth are odd and misshapen and colored. You see upon his body he's wearing this leather apron that is slick with sanguine fluid. His hands, his nails, caked with dirt and meat. Can't believe I said that. And in his right hand, a long, rusted pole that seems to be crusted at the end. The hook itself is crusted in old blood. You see his face kind of twists and looks towards you. And then at this same time, you feel this force trying to pull your face. Do you turn or do you keep looking forward?
I'll turn.
As you begin to turn, you see everyone else's face is stalwart and just stone and stuck. But the captain's face is ripped with a terrible smile. He looks towards you. He says nothing. But that smile is unearthly. You did feel a gentle push on your back. When did the behemoth get behind you? Although he's so big, his push is so gentle. As you begin to walk down the corridor, your hooves clopping against the cobble as he brings you to another archway where no light is present. You struggle and hope that you can see, but to no avail. The darkness does not give away anything. He pushes you again, gently, as you feel that you're beginning to descend. You feel this cold breeze begin to hit your face and kiss your flesh. And then you hear a chorus of whimpers. And as you descend, spiraling down, you see this orange glow. At first you think it's maybe your mind playing tricks on you. But no. It is firelight. You step down. You're greeted by another long corridor. The lanterns are spaced to provide minimal light, but maximum shadow. Another push. And you begin to walk through this corridor, and you see on your left and right these steel doors that are in front of these rooms where the whimpers are beginning to permeate out of. They slip through the darkness and they begin to play in your ears. You can hear whispers, you can hear begging, you can hear perhaps someone slowly beginning to fade away in their final moments. Before you know it, you're before a singular door. And you know, as you suddenly sink, that this is your door. You can hear the rattling of keys as he twists the lock. The door opens. And you hear him whisper as the sconces in this room all ignite. The orange light begins to pour in, and you see instruments all along the walls, some glistening, some rusted. You can see a chair that's pushed all the way to the back, but it's wrong. You're brought in, and then you're stopped as you feel a tug at your fabric. You hear him say, "Remove," as if molasses, the words spill slowly out of his mouth. He begins to tear your clothes, throwing them to the side. And then you feel the pressure release from your wrists as the center of the shackle is released and your arms are free. But he grabs you and steps to each side of the wall as you hear the chain begin to get pulled towards you. Your shackles are locked in on each arm as your arms are extended. And then you begin to hear the wood creaking as he begins to turn these wheels. The flickering of the light hits as your arms are made taut and you become suspended. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
A 10.
A 10. Now I need a strength saving throw. 11. As he continues to pull, you feel for a second as you instinctually try to pull back. But then you hear a creak, but not of wood, but of bone. Your arm dislocates as you're held aloft. You hear his dull footsteps walk around. And you hear him begin to whisper. As he whispers, you know that he's making calculations. He's planning. He's plotting. He steps to the wall as he pulls off this leathered whip. It unfurls and drops, and you can see the eyes in the dark as the lights flicker again from a gentle breeze. You can see that the ends of it are bladed, hooked. You hear his voice again through the darkness. Repent. As his wrist flicks, the hooks strike your flesh. They dig in as you feel the blood beginning to pour over onto your skin. You feel his hand flick again. However, This is a new sensation, another new pain. The hooks are stuck. You hear him say, "You're pegged." As your mind goes dark. Give me a sanity check, please.
Is that just a d20, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's just say, yeah, it's a wisdom saving throw. Sorry, wisdom saving throw, which is for your sanity.
That's a 15.
15. Take 7 points of hits to your sanity. It's... You feel as the anticipation and the imagination of what's to come begin to try and seize your body and tense up. You try to prepare yourself. Each moment as his wrist flicks, it tears more and more. Until he finally just angrily pulls you here, grunt. As you hear the blood splash against the cobble. Your eyes begin to focus. There's a sudden light again. You begin to look him in his eyes for the first time. You see they're dull and almost lifeless. He stares at you from the shadow. Purification. You take 6 points of piercing damage. As we'll leave you there for now. And we join the next party. The rest of your party. I thought I'd put the song up here. I don't know how long it's gonna go. Oh, I put up here quite a bit. But we start in the tent. Madam Ava. Shall we do a reading? She flourishes the cards, begins to flip them. You saw she pulled one out and it burned in her hand. She shuffles them. Her hand extends as the cards hit the table and she turns them over and slides them forward. Please, pick your card.
Okay. Why not?
Who's pulling first?
I think Benedict would have already drawn a card, kind of frantically.
Okay. So as you draw the card, you see that it's the traitor. The card did not change. Where did you put that other card you picked up?
I kept it with me. I take it out just to see if it's the same card.
It's blank. What does that mean? She looks at you. I look on your face. I can tell you have pulled the traitor card. It is a card that symbolizes someone who has forsaken much. You are a lamb who is lost. Please, draw again. She shuffles the deck and presents it to you.
I draw again.
As you draw the card, this time as you pull the card back, the anticipation just mounts inside of you. You pull it up and you see this card here is that of a devil creature wreathed in armor and flame, a sword of fire standing above what looks like a plane of burning bodies. That is the Dark Lord card. You have fallen off the path. and this is your new path.
I would say rather that I have been pushed off the path. But never mind that for now.
She leans forward and she grabs your hand. Salvation is not outside of your grasp. It is possible. You can save yourself.
It's just I do not understand why this is all happening. Why this keeps happening.
Some of us are unlucky. Unfortunately for you, I don't have to pull the cards to see that you belong to Barovia now.
Do you happen to know how is my family?
Your family.
Yes, how is my mom? How is my dad? How is Gideon? Did he and Martha get married? How is little Helen? Did she finally learn how to read? How is everybody?
She'll look at you with this. Her gaze softens. Before it was more calculating and cold, but she softens towards you. She understands your plight. She pulls the cards back, begins to shuffle. She slides them forward and begins to draw 3 cards. She places them down. You see one has the form of a woman who's cupping a rose, thorns around her. You see another, it looks like a knight who is in the middle of the woods, searching. And then you have one, seems like of a child, newly born, wreathed in light. The lover, the scout, and the newborn. This spells good fortune for your family, but they are hurting. They miss you.
Will I ever see them again?
As you are now, no. But as I said, salvation is not outside of your grasp.
What do I need to do to go back home?
This place is ruled by Strahd. Killing him could possibly bring you back. But you must be careful. You're on a slippery slope. Something has locked onto you. Don't believe everything you hear. But you've made a deal. I can see that. I can see the darkness looming over your shoulder.
He says that he came into existence when I died here, but that cannot be true, right? The this thing could not have been created because of me, right? This
Barovia is a perversion of the material plane. It simply takes whatever you bring to Barovia. It's twisted. She looks toward Lumiere, like that lens of yours. Twisted.
Yes, it is corrupted somehow, but then it also seems that it has, I don't know, can show me new things as well.
No. Truthfully, yes. Just be careful. You may not want to see everything.
Yes, there have been a number of things I've seen here that I wish I perhaps had not, but I would rather know them than not be aware.
Always so level-headed. Always so rational.
I try.
So, shall we read your fortune? He slides
Certainly.
card forward. Please draw. Pull the card. And you pull this card of a woman that's she's wearing a robe that's lined in gold. There is a eye in the center, and behind her she's backdropped by stars and a constellation. And in front of her, she's there is like the silver basin with water in the side with the image of a moon in the water. You've pulled a seer card. This card symbolizes one who is constantly looking toward the stars. This is where you'll find your strength. With that lens, you have something that many in Barovia only dream of. You can actually see the sky.
Yes, I noticed briefly it was quite comforting.
No one in Barovia can do that. Save for the Dark Lords, but it's counting.
Well, perhaps we should add one to the count then. Not that I would be a Dark Lord, but
That would be interesting. I think you'd be pretty fearsome.
well, if I need to be to get what I need, perhaps.
She pulls the deck back and shuffles and places it next to her. Well, you are here now. What do you wish to ask me?
Well, Benedict has asked after his family. I suppose I should at least ask if you have any idea about the whereabouts of my father. I have been perhaps better on his trail than I had hoped I might be, but it has not led to him yet.
She shuffles. And she fans the cards out. And she begins to pull 3. You see one where it's another man in this dark robe. It looks as if it's the brother card of the card you pull, the seer. You see this one has a large rod in hand that's glowing this red glow, and behind him there is just fire. She pulls another. You see this one is of a older gentleman, decrepit, stuck inside of a chair. You see his face is downcast. Looks sad and sullen. Last card. You see this card is of a castle. The castle itself is backdropped by the moon, stars. The sorcerer card. The old man. And the spire. Your father's in danger. He was safe at one point, but now he's been captured again. Whoever this person is not originally from Barovia.
Interesting. Are there many such people here?
There are some, but they're mostly the Visani. Travelers.
But you do not think it is one of your people who has my father?
No. If it was one of mine, I would definitely know.
Do you know, is that what is that the other thing the lens shows me, if you know? It reveals different things about people. Some with specters on their visage.
I see. Well, it's good for you. Please take the lens and look upon your comrade.
I will certainly do so.
You turn and look toward Benedict with the lens. You see his face is covered in a ghostly visage. It's hard to focus on him. Then you hear Ava's voice chime through loud and clear. Those that are of Barovia, their faces appear as such. Ghost specters.
It is very good to know. Assuming your information is good, but it seems somewhat reliable so far, I suppose.
Good. I see. And she looks over to another card. You can see upon it that this card itself has it has a look of a priest carrying a censer. The smoke is slowly wafting off of it, and behind him you see like a gate and a chapel, and it looks like the motif of a rising sun in the back. You see that this card itself is upside down. Seems your friend is in a great deal of pain. She puts her hand on it. This is Lithro. She slides it forward. The card itself, as she pulls her fingers back, you see there's just little spurts of blood on the card itself. Her fingers are clean. He's suffering.
Let me ask if I may. You are giving us much information about now. Elsewhere, perhaps, but now. And yet you speak as if you understand things that may come to pass. If we are to do the things that we need to do, perhaps to find my father, perhaps for Benedict's elusive salvation, what role must we have? I suppose Benedict must kill Strahd. If we are to do this, well, I guess part of me is asking, what is the necessity? How important is our poor suffering friend?
Nothing.
Retrieving him will not be easy, I am certain.
No, it will not. But he does have a part to play. You see, Strahd, you see as she begins to, her veins begin to pop around her throat. You see she tenses rather harshly.
Are you okay?
You see as she wrenches forward as the candles in this area begin to come alive. They rage and they engulf and they grow in size, and then they turn this deep purple. You hear the dull thud of her head hitting the table as the cards all fly upwards and the table shakes. You see she grabs the sides of it as she begins to, you hear the wood of the table begin to creak as it slightly bends at the corners. You hear she's struggling. And then she pulls herself back. Her eyes slowly open. So, this is who you all were. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Strahd. I'll be short. I have something that I want, and I'm here to possibly make a deal with you all.
That would suggest you also have something that we want?
Definitely. You see Madame Mabel's face as the blood is like pulling around her mouth, you see she's still struggling as her eyes are ever so often like roll in the back of her heads, but then they refocus as she like shakes and turns towards you. She looks toward Benedict first. I know what it is you want. You want to be free. You want to leave. I can grant that for you. Give you back your life. It is within my power.
How?
Ever since I've become true lord of all the dark realms, I can easily pluck your soul from beyond the veil and give it back to you. You died within Barovia. This is within my power.
Here's the thing, Strahd. I have been made one too many false promises to just take your offer at face value. Not to disrespect you as the Lord of the land, but I do not have any reason to trust that you can do this or that you will.
As you're speaking, you see Ava's body lunges forward and grabs your arm and pulls you across. You feel like this stinging pain in your hand before it begins to seem to dissipate. And as you pull your hand back and look at it in the light, you see the black nails are gone. The hand is human. These are no false promises. This is simple. As for you, child, and he looks toward Lumiere, I know who you seek.
This is not surprising. I have told pretty much everyone I've run into.
You lack faith. So, you watch as Ava's body kind of contorts and her mouth opens and elongates. And then you hear, Lumiere, is that you?
Yes, it is. Where are you?
I don't know. It's dark here.
I will bring the light back to you soon.
And it cuts off as the mouth closes. Your father is with me.
So you contradict Madame Ava's information then? For you seem to be of this place, and she says he is held by one who is not.
I believe she speaks of my new compatriot. I believe you all know who he is. Zek.
This is a shame. But, well, perhaps it tells me exactly what I need to know in this moment, that I am not, although I had some affinity for him, although I felt perhaps we had similar modes, I am not the one to make a deal with you where he was.
That is... How about this? Give me the box. I will simply give you what you asked for. Benedict, Lumiere, you'll be able to leave. Hold on. You'll be able to leave. And I will also free your friend. The one who suffers.
Well, I mean, we have only known him a short time, and certainly he suffers, but it seems that I am not much of a hero, perhaps, but there are many people here suffering as much as he. And I am coming to know some of them almost as well as I know him. Free them all, perhaps.
Free them all. If
It's
you're
good to
willing.
know you have a sense of humor. You may need it.
You said something quite funny, something I haven't heard in centuries. But if you're willing to give me the box, I'm willing to free them all.
I can't remember if Ismark came into the tent with us.
Ismark is there. He is, but so if you look at Ismark, not only is his hair is on end, but he's currently looking at you, staying silent. Hand on his sword, pretty much. You can tell that he's waiting to see everyone's answer.
I don't know. You don't really seem like the type to keep to these sorts of deals.
I most certainly will.
It's not outside of my reach. So I do not know what kind of salvation awaits for me if I align myself with another devil. And if it is within my reach, then I do not need yet another devil coming into my life and making them even more miserable. So I appreciate your kindness, Strahd, but I personally reject your offer.
That is regrettable. You, Lumiere?
Well, I am at once perhaps more inclined to consider your offer and less inclined to consider it kindness. But I don't know. I think that I am the type only to become desperate when I have no new information on which to act. I have much new information today that I must try to run down before I make a desperate move like a deal with someone such as you. Another time, perhaps.
Unfortunate. And you see as her body goes slack again, she hits the table and the lights, the flames die down and return to their normal orange glow. She picks her head back up and she's back to herself. However, we'll take a short 5. And we're back. Sorry about that. I had to go help lift something. Yeah, so she comes back. Her eyes are alive yet again. And you see that there isn't a look of fear or anything on her face. It's just a look of shit. I'm sorry. I didn't think he could do that.
Well, it is. Are you okay from it? Is it? Has it harmed you in any way?
No, it feels more like there's a fog. Usually I don't feel that way. Usually my mind is clear.
Usually,
Yes.
is this a common occurrence for you?
No. This is the first time he's ever. Well, usually Strahd will appear where he wants to appear. He can move in and out, but this is the first time he's ever done that. Yeah. I fear is what he's grown into. I'm sorry. You see as she kind of leans back and she puts her head to a temple, or finger to a temple, I'm sorry, and seconds later you see the little girl that led you here come in, and she takes her hand and she begins to like kind of talk and like kind of soothe her a little bit. I'm sorry. What? Yes, Lithra will pay a part in the future. There's no one left like him in Barovia. He still holds on. He may be the only semblance left of godliness in this forsaken place.
Well then, I suppose if we have rejected the direct approach, we must go through the more roundabout way.
Yeah.
And save Lithra.
He's more than likely being kept in the screaming corridors. It's a building on the outskirts of Vallaki. It's kept far away because of the stench. They dump bodies in the back. Those that don't survive purification. Most don't. Others that do, they're usually mutilated in some way.
Any sort of thought on how long that typically takes, one way or the other?
It all depends on the person. It depends on how strong they are, how long they last.
Well, as you say, there are certain kinds of strength that Lithra seems to have in quite a good supply. We'll hope that's the type he needs.
I hope he can survive down there. And with that, we'll jump back. Yeah.
Can I have like one? Okay, wait, okay, never mind. I'll ask it when we. Okay, I'll ask it like later. Sorry.
Okay. Jump back to Lithra. Lithra. Has it been hours, days? You can't tell. As you look down, your body is shredded. There are indentations where the hooks have left as they've been pulled out and ripped out. You see ribbons of your flesh hung from your body. You hear the behemoth utter, "Strip bare," as he says it. You know he doesn't mean your clothes. He means of the flesh. And then you hear a voice coming from beyond the corridor. Yes, strip bare. In order to be properly purified, you must relinquish yourself. Relinquish everything. As the Morning Lord has said, come to me as you were born, nude, and wrap yourself in my purifying light. What better way to be wrapped, purified? you hear the voice echoing of Captain Milosevic. As you are lowered down, your knees hit the cobbled floor. You can't stand. Your arms hang limply as the behemoth picks you up, one arm, and you hear the screeching of the chair behind you. You're set into it as your arms are strapped down. Your head is strapped back. He begins to walk around you. He then grabs this mechanism that sets to the ends of the chair. Your fingers are splayed outwards. And you see he grabs, looks like the wood grain of a chisel and a hammer. The door opens. There's just a little bit of lantern light pours in. And the guard captain steps forward. You know, this all could stop. All you have to do is admit. Admit that you are licentious. You were born a reprobate. You are a stain upon the world. And that you are a festering wound whose soul yearns to be purified by the morning Lord's light. Simply utter it, and it'll end. You can hear the iron sabatons stepping around him as it clink, clink, screeches each time he walks around you. Admit it, and you will be purified. A decrepit soul cannot admit when they are truly, truly dirty. What say you?
I have the morning Lord's life within me.
So, you continue to lie. He looks toward the behemoth as the behemoth steps forward to one of your flayed fingers. You see now what the tool is. It's a chisel. He lodges it beneath your fingernail. With a tink, the fingernail bends backwards. I need you to make another sanity saving throw, please.
It's a 3.
Okay. You lose another 8 points of sanity. And you take 6 points of piercing damage. Fingernail bent backwards. You can see it in the light as he begins to shone through the opacity. The behemoth walks up, wraps his finger around it, and pulls the nail from the finger and tosses it to the side. You hear hit the side. He lodges the chisel beneath. The captain speaks again. Admit it. You are licentious, a reprobate, a stain upon the world, a festering wound whose soul yearns to be purified. And this will stop. You'll be set free.
I have the morning Lord's love within me.
He nods. Tink! Another. Fingernail bends backwards. The blood pouring over your fingertip as the behemoth pulls it back and throws it to the side. Give me a perception check.
16.
As you're staring beyond, your eyes watering from the pain, as if you're looking through a mirror that's been covered in a fogged mirror. You're staring and looking forward beyond them as the voice of the captain drones on. You see beyond him a boy. looking towards you. His head cocked slightly to the side. You hear his voice echo in your mind. You know, there's another way. I can help you.
You shouldn't be here. You should leave. It's dangerous.
No, they're no threat to me, but they're a threat to you. You see, he walks forward and walks past them. They don't see him. He puts his hand on your thigh and looks up at you. You see his face is pale, almost like ceramic. His eyes are a bright green. He looks like he can't be no more than 9, 10 years old. Hey, this has to hurt. This isn't fair. I can help you.
If this is what the Morning Lord wishes for me to go through, then I will.
Wow, that's not nice. He's left you down here to rot. There's no sun that can reach down here. This is only the beginning. Still more time left in the day. Perhaps you'll see it my way. We should get to know each other. At the throw? My name is Jack.
I have something of yours.
I know. You don't have to return it. I wanted you to have it. I have something else for you too. As you sit there and wait, tink! Another. Your fingernails bent backwards and torn off. You can feel the turf of your hair pulled as the captain whispers in your ear. Admit it, you're licentious, a reprobate, a stain. And your soul yearns to be purified. And then you can bask in the Morning Lord's light.
I have the Morning Lord's love within me.
You hear him slightly laugh. As he walks around, you feel another lodge beneath your nail. And Jack staring at you leaning against the wall, playing with toys. And we'll leave you there and return back to Benedict and Lumiere. So, you're still within the tent. Ismark walks up. Yeah. I'm sorry, I kind of froze up, but I'm glad that you didn't take the offer.
I do have another question, Madam Ava.
Yes.
I would see why maybe Lumiere could find her way here. And also, maybe Vesuvius too, if wherever he is gone. But me, Literal, Ak, we would have never gone to Barovia if not for the visions you sent us. So I suppose my question is, why us in particular? Why bring us all the way here? The box was could have been delivered by anyone else.
The person who's bringing the box, he was only meant to bring it to you. That box is important. It's important to Strahd. It's the best way of killing him. Taking it out of here was the best way to get it for him to lose his sight. Strahd is omnipotent here. He can see almost anything. And well, taking out of Barovia was our best bet. It was always meant to come back. Strahd, he has to die. You all can do this.
How can you be so sure?
Truthfully, all of you have something that many of us who fought against him didn't have. And it's just a purpose. Revolution wasn't enough. You all have this strength. Lumiere looking for a father, willing to do anything for it. You wanting salvation, willing to do anything for it. Literal, who's so resolute in his faith, regardless of what happens, is enough. Ak, he's searching for something that will lead him to Strahd. You all have something. You all have a part to play. Even Vesuvius. Him disappearing was all part of this. Wherever he is, I can't even see him.
If you can see so many pieces of the situation, though, perhaps one thing is most urgent. Can what needs to be done with the box that we were thinking of going to the temple in Vallaki for, can that still be done there? I mean, if we are going to try to do something with Literal, it seems unlikely there will be also time to simply stop off in town and deal with the temple.
That? And she points toward the box and the keyhole itself. And that box will not open at the temple. You see, come with me. She stands up as the little girl kind of tries to help her up. And she leads you outside. Take your lens and look up. You do so. You see there are these ley lines that are connecting in the center of the sky. You see that as you begin to look around with the lens, that it seems as if the world itself is sectioned. The Dark Lords, they all have their own realm. However, there are keys to each realm. These are called mist talismans. Acquiring these can get you into their realm. Each one has a piece that goes to this box.
The box seems to be intact already. What do you mean by pieces?
To unlock it,
Well, Ismark, it seems it to be a bit more time before we can deal with this. We'll be carrying it around for a while, but at least I think we will not waste our time in the temple here, or in Vallaki rather.
That's fine. I don't want to stay anywhere near this place. It wasn't like this before. I don't know exactly what this was. I can only imagine what's happening to Lithro. You see, he walks up to Madame Ava and just simply bows and thank you very much for seeing us and everything that you've done and what you did for the revolution. She nods and he returns to your side.
Yes, I thank you as well. It is unfortunate that Strahd has clouded your mind recently, and he clouds these lands, but remember, there are some of us who can see through the clouds.
Yes. And, well, I'm hoping that you'll be the guiding light for the rest of everybody.
Now, I think it is best we go and get Lithro.
Somehow, yes, but that is obviously the next order of business.
Yes. Let's, he kind of, he begins to talk to Madame Eva. So you said it's on the outskirts of town, right? And there's a dumping ground behind it or something? Yes. They dump the bodies, those that fail purification. Although, it's meant for failure. It's impossible to succeed almost. Shit. You watch as he kind of just fastens his stuff and checks his sword and sheaves again and says next to you all.
Well, as I always say, we need information to know how to act. Madame Eva has told us something about the layout of this place, but we must see it for ourselves.
All right.
I can make us a bit sneakier when the time comes, but going through the walls of a place and the guards, it is a different matter.
Yeah, we'll scope the place out. He looks toward Benedict. Hey, you sure you're gonna be okay? The guard captain didn't really seem to like the look of you. I mean, you are a tiefling, but I'm not sure there's anything you can do about that.
I would really rather if you not call me that, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry, I meant no
I
offense.
cannot. For now, it would seem that I am considered unlikable, but generally harmless. The guards at the gate seem to at least be okay with my presence, if not at least willing to let me pass by. So as long as I keep low profile, I do believe that we should be okay. However, as far as sneaking in, unless we find a roundabout entrance, I doubt that I could just walk inside.
All right. I guess we'll solve that problem when we get to it. Anyway, here I do have this, and he like throws a cloak over you. It probably won't help at all, but who knows? I guess we ready to get going?
Yes, let's head for perhaps the back way. Sometimes the most roundabout entrance is the exit.
All right.
And we could go in through the dumping ground.
All right. You guys begin to make your way there. Well, Flashback to the throne. The throne. Shackles come off of your hands. You see the stinging pain in your fingernails, in your fingers. The nails are gone. You didn't break. But all the while, Jack was there. You see as they begin to pull you up, and they open the door. You see as they open the door, a door on the opposite side opens. And from there you can see this large vat begin to drag you. Your hooves scratching across the cobbled. As you look to the right, you see a little further down the corridor, another door. You feel a breeze pushing at you. It seems like this could be a way out. But the stench of blood and rot is strong on that side. You see just a little sprinkling of sunlight as you're pulled past that threshold and into the other room. In this room, you smell alcohol. It's very strong. And as you're pulled in, your wounds ache. They bring you up to a platform where they tie your feet. And you begin to feel yourself held aloft as they pull the rope. And you're suspended above this vat. As you look down, you see the card captain. You see the behemoth. And you see Jack. You see him looking up towards you. Let me help you. This can end. I know you're not a renegade. I know you're not licentious. No, you just want to serve the Morning Lord. I can help you with that.
How?
I'm glad you asked. As you're suspended above, swinging above this vat of alcohol, you see they kind of stop and slow. You see, as he steps forward, his mouth opens and he reaches into his mouth and pulls out this serrated blade. It looks familiar. It's the one you saw in the death house. It's the one you attacked Benedict with. Take this. It can free you.
I'm not going to hurt anyone.
Why not? They're hurting you. This isn't fair. I don't want to see you get hurt anymore. You have so many more stories to tell. You feel his cold hands touch your face as he pulls you toward him. Throat, you're going to die in here. And then, if you die, who will tell my story? I was left out in the cold. I died alone. I don't want that to happen to you. Please, let me help you.
I'm sorry what happened to you. But if I die, I'll be with the Morning Lord.
Ethereal, you won't be with the Morning Lord. You'll be stuck here. People who die in Barovia don't make it to the afterlife. They stay lost in the mist. I know you felt it. Don't let that happen to you.
I have faith in the Morning Lord.
You see a tear rolls down his eye. And then suddenly you are pulled back by your wounds stinging as you're dipped into alcohol and submerged. You're pulled back out suddenly, coughing and sputtering. Admit it. You are licentious. You are a reprobate. You are a stain, a festering wound. It's a longing to be purified. And this will end. You will be basking in the Morning Lord's light again.
I have the Morning Lord's love within me.
The chains drop again as you're dipped again. Wounds burning. Please give me a sanity saving throw.
Send that one.
One. $15 points of sanity damage. And you take 6 points of burning damage.
Sorry, how much sanity?
Shit. I think I said 16. I mean, I already moved the dice. You pulled back out. As you pull back out, you see Jack before you. Please, let me help you. If you're going to make it back to see the Morning Lord, you have to. The Morning Lord himself hurt people to get to where he was. He's not all good. He preaches rebirth. How do you think he attained that rebirth? Sometimes hurting people is just. This person here, this captain, he's as worse as they come, and you know it. Think about all the people you'd be saving.
I accept and forgive what the Morning Lord has done, and I hope he does the same for me.
You see Jack's face downcast as the world rushes as you're dipped back into the vat. We go back to Lumiere and Benedict. You guys have made your way with the help of Ismark to the outskirts of Lucky. The guards have let you in, and you've maneuvered around the side of the town. And you're beginning to smell stench. It's familiar. The buildings are seldom here. There's no people. This looks more like a bit of a slum as opposed to the city proper. But as you come around, you see a building bigger than the rest. 4 stories, made of marble, iron, stone, and wood. and in front, 2 guards posted in front of a steel door that's locked, their faces wrapped in white cloth. Ismark, I think that's it. As you guys have pressed your backs against this derelict building, it's slightly looks like it's have some the structural integrity is pretty, it's shit as opposed to anything else, and you guys have pressed your backs against it and are kind of looking around.
How open is it around? Like, if we want to go try to look all the way around the building, is it going to be pretty much we're walking out in the middle of the open, or what?
Yeah, you're walking pretty much middle of the open.
You said a structural in
Oh.
your words. Well, would it be possible for us to just kind of gently, as gently as possible with this kind of thing, to just like create ourselves an entrance?
Oh,
To kind of push some bricks in or something like that.
The building you need to go into is not, the building itself is really structurally sound. It's a tough building.
Okay.
But the building you guys have pressed yourself up against it to kind of hide and scout, it's shit pretty much. It hasn't really been done with anything. It's the like part of the wall has fallen off. You see like old bedding and things in here. This place really hasn't been used. But you guys are about a good 100+ feet from that other building, and you'll be in the open, trying to get to it.
That being said, do we see the body dump yard from there?
From where you are, no. You would have to. You figured that you probably have to walk around it.
Right. Yes, I was hoping we could sneak up through the dumping area, but then I can give us a bit of assistance with our sneaky, but I don't think it's going to work in the open. No sign of Ack, I assume?
Let me see where let me see.
I mean, if you just want to decide he's not around for ease, that's fine. I just wasn't sure if that was where we're going.
No, you don't see Ack currently. However, you have the feeling that if you were to call him, he would show.
Oh, well. I guess when we're ready to be noisy then.
Pretty much.
Which is, obviously, I wouldn't really want that until that point anyway.
Do you reckon that Lumiere would be able to turn into a small animal to maybe scout, maybe and climb inside and find us an opening?
And I can do so if it's just to find a place. If we want to see a particular place, this lens that I've recovered may be able to do that, but it has to be sort of a predictable location and it doesn't move around. Yeah, I could sneak about a bit, I suppose. I mean, maybe we could do just a bit as is. Just walk up and look closer. Can't get inside, but I guess I could do this.
I think we should all like get a bit closer and then maybe you scout the area as some sort of like not an unsuspicious animal.
Well, I think any animal would be suspicious if it used to be a woman not a second ago, standing out in the open. So now it is now or never, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, I can try this. It's not my preferred way to use the starlight, but I can do it. And I have my book here with my animals in it someplace.
All right.
Let's see. I can't remember what sneak is. And tiny. Well, it won't do us much good if this space is tiny, tiny, tiny anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something better than that. Where is this? They're all 1 hit point, all these tiny things. Well, I suppose the least conspicuous in an area with lots of dead bodies and things would be indeed a rat.
Mm-hmm.
So, since my options are limited in their strength, I will simply do the most sensible, and I will go ahead and turn into a rat.
Okay.
I activate a very vaguely rat-looking constellation on my armor.
Nice.
Glows briefly as I then disappear and am replaced by a tiny rat.
Nice. Shrink down. Turn into a rat. Does your rat have any interesting qualities about it?
No. It's to be a very simple rat. It wants
Okay.
to not draw attention.
Got it.
No time for theatrics.
It's for as like pure black as to keep it the goth thing.
Yeah, it's definitely I guess it's a goth rat, but
Yeah. Good old goth New York City rat. Okay.
Smacking a piece of pizza around.
All right, you turn into a rat. And
I want to mark this up before I forget. There it is.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So I guess at that point, I would try to scurry and snoop further around the building.
Okay.
Whatever, looks sensible based on the layout of the situation. I realize it's fairly in the open, but if there's any little scrubby brush or roadside or anything that can go along that maybe they don't even see me in the first place.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, kind of let's check for that because they're not going to be paying attention for a rat in this area because they are quite common. As you're scurrying around, you run through the shrubbery and the bushes, little bit of like underbrush, and you begin to round the corner of the building. And as you do so, you see a mound and mounds of bodies that are pushed a little further back from the area of the backside of the screaming corridors. As you get there, you see majority of the bodies. Some are fresh, some are old, and some are just burnt. And then the possibility of what could happen to let through also hits you here. As you come around, you hear the screeching of an iron door open as two guards, come out carrying another body. This body is lacerated. Chunks of flesh have been torn out. And you watch as they count off as they heave it into another pile. Their face is covered in white cloth. As they begin to make their way back down, the door closes behind as they step back in.
Do I hear much in the way of a locking sound as the door closes?
You do not.
All right, interesting. Although I'm generally looking for a way for all of us to get in, I guess in terms of reconnaissance, if I see any place where I can get in as a small rat to look around a little more, I would look for that.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Sure. Mental stuff I get to use either one, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure. If not, then just do it. I don't care.
So. Doesn't matter when you roll a 2.
Ooh.
7 total.
7 total. What's your base investigation?
+5 and intelligence of +2 and proficiency.
I mean your passive investigation.
Oh, passive, right?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Passive investigation is 15. Yeah.
15. I'll take that instead. Because it's not like it's hiding. But as you
Sure.
you begin to scurry around, maneuvering through some of the bodies. You make it to like this little backside of the building, and you begin to round the corner as you see a guard begin to walk past you. You sit at the corner where you see that there is a little bit of the rock has been slightly tilted, and there's a small little crevice that you could possibly fit through.
All right, why not? I need to know what's inside there.
Okay. You slip in. As you make your way in, you find yourself in a cell. But there are bars. You see in the corner this man who just seems to be wasting away. And he's naked and chained to the wall, slumped down on the floor. But you run past him.
Yeah. Looking for numbers of bad folk and anything useful that way.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Sure. Oh, good lord. That's a 1 plus 7 for 8.
Okay. You definitely see one of the guards at the front desk here. You make your way out. As you're scurrying along, you see the door open. Give me a stealth check.
Well, that's a natural 20.
Nice.
25.
All right, so the guard does not see you. He steps in. He's walking forward, yawning and rubbing his eyes as he just slides his knife along the bars. You can hear people slightly whimpering as he walks past. You break out into a full sprint. As the doors closes, you slip in. Inside, you see some of the guards. There's at least 3 guards in this room remaining. And you see the front door. As you see the 3 guards standing here as they're looking around. Mostly, they seem to be just having a small conversation. You hear them. You hear the new one they brought in. He hasn't broken yet. Well, give it time. Olga will break him soon. They all do. Well, let's see how much with the Morning Lord he'll be then once he gets to the 4th ring. They then turn, bring it to look out the front door. You standing above before you are 3 doors. The one you came out, one other, then there's the front door.
Right.
So step up to it, but it's closed.
Sure. Yeah, so now I'm in this room and no way out of this little room.
However, with your passive perception, you do see that there at the top of the door, there are bars. Perhaps you could slip through. But it's high.
Very, very high.
May have to do some rat acrobatics to get up there.
Nice acrobatics. All right. Yeah, and if this is the front door and those guys are watching the front door, yeah, what the hell? Well, if how much like is there? Like a chest in the corner or something that I can sort of sit behind for a few minutes.
Yeah, there's a few chairs in here that you can sit behind. There's a desk here as well.
I would give it a couple of minutes to see if any other doors open.
Okay. Oh wait. Let's roll and see. High, one does. Low, it does not.
Sure.
It's a 15. The door opens. The door you just came out of opens. It seems that guard has returned.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
Okay. You.
I can.
I'll piggyback off your natural 20. You slip back into that corridor and took back down. You just see that there are just a bunch of cells in this area. Where are you going?
Right. Well, I want to see if I can figure out what the hell the rings might be, and if there's a progression of worseness to this place, or of course if I see Lithril anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna head, along looking through cells.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go through another door that might close me off from the way I came in.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what I can see without doing that.
Okay. So, with your passive perception, You see that most of these are just cells, just cobbled walled cells, and then just regular iron bars. However, you hear something coming from below you. You hear screaming from below.
Wonderful. Anything like obviously like the way that goes down?
Not in this area, no.
And that would be below ground level all the way around?
Yes.
Right, so it's not like it's a, basement out back is lower or something.
Yeah.
All right. I think that I'm going to try to make my way back out of here how I came in.
Okay. Easy enough. You
Finish the loop around and rejoin the others.
Easy enough. You make your way back into the cell that you came out of, and now you can see exactly how this hole was made. You see that around the outskirts of the hole itself, it's just dull scratching and some fingernails lodged into this cobble here. You can see on the side that there was some sort of stick or another rock that was also used, a little bit of blood on it. You make your way through the hole. You make your way back out. And slip back around the piles of bodies, back through the underbrush, and back to Benedict's side.
All right. Back to girl. Well, I learned some things. None of it's pleasant, of course. Not that we expected that to be the case. I did find a small way in for just myself as a rat. The back door where they bring out the bodies didn't sound like it was locked. But there are a number of guards inside. It is obviously a horrible place. The hole I came out of was obviously made by someone in there trying to claw the way out, even without bestial little claws. I think there were 3 guards inside the front room behind the main door.
Yeah, there were 3 guards plus the one that walked in and out.
Right. So there are at least that many, in addition to the 2 on the front. And I did not see Lithril, but the screams I heard coming from beneath would be below ground, so I didn't even see any way to get down from inside there, but certainly no way from the outside, as far as I can tell. Thoughts?
Seems that we would have to either go through the back door or barge in to the main entrance now. Either way, there is a question of should we try to disguise ourselves as guards, but I doubt that my appearance will allow me to do so. And I am not particularly accustomed to stealthing around, so
Yes, they seem to be sort of, they know each other, they know that they're a set of guards, they're talking about the new one who come in, obviously probably Lithril, who they said did not break yet. This is very good, but, in other words, they probably know each other quite well, so a ruse is probably not going to do much good.
we could stealth in, but it is a risk on my part. I could jeopardize the entire thing. However, I do believe that the more, if there are as many guards there, that to release Lithril, we will need as much fighting power as we could get. So, do you reckon that we should take that risk?
Which, trying to sneak or just trying to fight it?
Trying to sneak in and, if push comes to shove, actually fight it.
Yeah, I think we should try as hard as we can to get into the back way and see if it is indeed not locked. We'd be fighting by that point probably, but I just don't see them opening the front door under many circumstances for us, even if successfully fooled by something.
Then it is decided. We're sneaking in, fellas.
I'm gonna try to get to the back door,
Mm-hmm.
semi-sneakily,
No problem.
and then see what goes from there.
Okay.
I will certainly cast Pass Without Trace
All right.
to try to get us to the back door. I mean, I realize it's in the open, but we'll do what we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, where is it? There it is.
Okay.
Because I think that goes for a while. So,
All right. So pass out a trace. Let me pull up Ismark's. Okay.
yeah, lasts for an hour. Concentration, of course.
Mm-hmm. So.
Wait, so we're stealthing to the back door?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna try. It's a few
Even if we
hundred
only
feet.
get halfway, because it's a long, because it's a long distance. Even if we just sort of get part way before, so that they don't go reinforce the back door all of a sudden before we can get there.
But I guess I'll try my hand at stealthing too.
All right. So
Okay.
give me your stealth
not too
checks
off.
and add +10.
A +10.
Mm-hmm. From pass out a
I
trace,
got-
yeah.
Yes.
So I got a 14. Then
Okay.
with the +10, then it should be 24.
And mine
Nice.
only adds up to 21 with the +10, unfortunately. But
That's still nice. I'm gonna have Ismark auto succeed. Because it's just not fair if I'm rolling NPC fails, and yeah. I don't like that, so I don't like doing that. So, but Ismark will auto succeed as long as you guys succeed. However, this is since there's only 2 of you, this is a group check. These are group checks. You guys both passed this. However, since it's such a far distance,
Right.
you have a total amount of failures that you can actually have.
Sure.
You succeed this first one, you get out, and you kind of wait for the guard to change. Some of the guards begin to look around. You're watching them closely as you hunch down and you begin to scurry across your rattiness has kind of carried over into your humanity. And you're able to scurry across, and Benedict, you kind of lower down and you get closer and you begin to make your way forward. You get yourself to a little bit of underbrush and you go prone and lay yourself down. Luckily, during this time, that the afternoon sun is starting to fall a little bit low. And since it's overcast, it can be kind of hard to see. You've made your way 30 feet so far. Please, next round of stealth checks.
Still with the spell thing.
Mm-hmm. So +10.
Less than an hour.
Then
So
I am at 19. Yeah.
Okay.
23.
Nice. Okay. You wait the second. You see one of them turns and then he cocks and sneezes. As he does so, you get up. Now, Ismark closely behind you as you make your way through, dashing quietly into some of the underbrush. You dip down, and you find, luckily, it's a little bit of shrubbery that's left. You hunch down, lower, you look over, just to check. The guards have noticed nothing. Next round of stealth checks.
Let's do it. God, my rolls are so horrible.
Ooh.
22.
22 and 17. So for that, I am going to roll a perception check.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Honestly, casting that spell was probably a very good choice on my part because I roll with disadvantage because I'm wearing chain armor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Hey, well, if it's a druid's mostly gonna have pass out trace. It's just going to happen. You duck down, and as you duck down, part of your dress kind of gets caught, Lumiere. You hear it rip, and then you hear one of the hell was that? You dip down, remove kind of fix the dress as it look around. You can see through the brush and the twigs. You can see him, the guard, to the left of the door, looking in your direction. Then you see he's kind of his attention's return to the front as he's, hey, pay attention. You know, I don't care what you heard. Just pay attention. All right. You feel safe? He didn't see you. Next round. Ooh.
35.
Ooh, big boy.
17.
I have to roll a perception check for that.
Sure.
Okay. As you get up, Lumiere, like a ghost, you make it to the back of the building.
Sure.
As you begin to hear, as the door begins to open, Benedict, your shoulder hits that shrub, and just a little bit of your armor begins to kind of squeak. You know, that metal squeak. It creaks a little bit as you get up. And you hear him. You didn't hear that? As you dip behind the building, you press up closely at Ismark. Press up next to you. Silently, quietly. Lumiere, as you're against the door, against the wall, you hear the door open as two more of those guards come out with another body in hand.
Shall we get them now? I think we need to go. Not being incredibly confident that the door is going to remain unlocked. Yeah, I'm gonna rush in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Just hoping to get myself into the doorway, knowing that they'll see me. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't think that the sneaking is gonna last forever.
Yeah. Okay. So a few things. Let me roll a perception check on that because you did roll a 35.
Yeah, true.
Let me roll perception checks for them. Okay, this is what happens. So, Lumiere, you take the second and wait and wait and wait as you see as the guard that's facing towards you, that would be facing towards you. He's like moving the body, and as he's moving the body, his covering from all his shuffling comes down, and you watch as he drops the body. And he begins to lower down as he covers his face. The other guard's is like, can we just move these bodies? Stop fucking around. It smells so bad. And you take the chance, and as you do so, the guard walks over to help him with his face covering, and you take that moment to slip. You make your way as the door is closing. You slip in between it. But at this time, Meredith, what are you doing as that door is beginning to close? I need to check one thing with pass out a trace, because is it a range or is it just like an imbuement?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to so it's for the duration. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you has a +10 bonus.
Okay.
So it's never 100% clear whether that's just like the choice at the beginning or whether they just stay. I think they probably should stay close to you.
Okay. Well, you're not outside of 30 feet anyway. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to run that far anyway.
Yeah. But you slip into the door. Are you going to try and hold it open, or are you going to let it close?
I I think if I've gotten that far and I've gotten all the way to the door and they haven't seen me yet, I'm gonna try to like hide inside the door thing and until they come back in, knowing that then I can open it.
Okay, give me stealth check.
They sort of go back inside someplace.
Just so I can have it for later.
These are terrible. 20 total.
20 total. Okay. You watch as Lumiere slips into the door. Benedict, what are you doing? The door's beginning to close. And they've begun to pick up the body.
Benedict is going to really, really focus on that pile of dead bodies and thaumaturgy some sort of like rustle within the pile of body, as if a body might still be alive and has been discarded by mistake.
Okay. Give me 2 checks here. Performance and a deception.
Okay. That's 12 for performance and 4 for deception.
4 for deception?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you thaumaturgy. And then you see as one of the guards kind of, he turns left real quick. It's probably just a rat. And they begin to heave the body onto the pile. They're starting to turn around.
Then I'll try to bolt for it. It's the best I could do.
Stealthily or non-stealthily?
Stealthily.
Okay, give me a stealth check. You still have the +10.
Oh, that's really good. Oh god damn it! I rolled with disadvantage, but I got nat 20. So it's gonna be an 18.
18. Okay. Their perception checks is terrible. So Ismark follows closely behind you. As the door begins to shut, you run forward, tap it slightly so that it opens, and you slip in. Ismark slips in behind you, puts up against the wall. As the door begins to slightly close, you see the light begins to turn to a small little cylinder of light before it's grabbed by one of the guards, and they're beginning to open it. You guys are on the sides of the threshold. What are you doing?
What's the rest of the room look like?
Okay, so as you look over, you see now that it's a room of 2 corridors. You're in one corridor that has no doors or anything, but beyond that, you see these lanterns that are spaced out along the corridor that seem to stretch almost infinitely into another dark room. But from the actual lights, you can see just a little bit of hinges of doors here, and you just hear screaming and whimpering.
Does any of the whimpering sound like Cliftville?
Make a perception check. Make insight.
Insight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay at insight. But my roll was meh. I got a 14 insight.
You know Lithril. You know Lithril's voice. You've never heard him scream. You're not really sure. It could be.
You did not happen, Lumiere, to have gotten any sort of information as to where they keep Lithril.
That door is opening more.
Yeah, I don't know. We must take them as quietly as possible. There'll be a problem eventually.
Okay. So, the door.
Yeah, go for it.
The door opens, and as the light begins to fill in, like what the? You guys can take a surprise around here.
I think my go-to in an emergency is my thorn whip.
All right. Roll a hit.
So 16.
That hits.
Oh, 4 damage piercing.
4 damage piercing. So you whip him. He has to make a strength save, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I think I can't remember now. It's been a while. Yeah, there's no save. They come 10 feet closer to me, but they're already pretty much.
Okay,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm hiding right by the door.
Yeah, you pull them right into you. As you're brought in, what are you doing, Benedict? As you see one just gets whipped toward Lumiere.
Okay. I can't really shoot anything if I want to be silent about it.
True.
I
mean, you can if you want to, but yeah.
I'm gonna try to be more. I think I'm gonna cast darkness. I'm gonna use darkness rather, not cast.
You know, use darkness. Okay.
Yeah, and just like kind of like darken the corridor. I'm gonna assume that none of them have dark vision. I'm just taking this bet.
Yeah, well, it's magical darkness, so they won't be able to see through it anyway.
No, it is magical darkness, but it specifically says it in the spell description: a creature with dark vision. Oh wait, no, I'm stupid. Okay, yeah, so yeah, just like darkening this corridor for us to just run away when we can.
Okay, so this darkness begins to spill out in the corridor as you lose sight. Ismark, as this is happening, he's going to try and take a hit at the one that Lumiere whipped. That's a natural 20.
Nice.
Actually, he's supposed to do.
I'll be back in a minute.
I'm finally Lumiere. My plans have succeeded.
This is what's happened. We're transferring souls and things.
Yeah, this is just. I'm just gonna leave it like this. He's gonna make 2 strikes. Yep. Yep. So Lumiere, you feel as you're tugging the body, that the body suddenly goes limp as the darkness spills out. You see just the last moments Ismark drives his blade into the back of his head, and you see it just pop out from his face and eyes. Lets it back out as the blood hits the floor, as the ground hits the floor, and he instinctively reaches down. He's going to make a dex save to try and catch the body. Yeah, not that hard. He catches the body as it falls down, so it doesn't, makes like a group of pots and pans sound as it hits the ground. Right. He lowers the body down, but the other one is like, "The hell is this?" Meanwhile, we'll jump to Lithro. Lithro, you don't know how many times you've been ducked in that vat of alcohol. You've swallowed some. Your mind is cloudy. You've inhaled it. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
The 10.
10. Tell me, Lithro, have you ingested alcohol before?
No.
Oh. You're in your furry. Unfortunately, your cherry was popped by being tortured. You feel your head swimming. Everything seems to run together. The fire and the sconces seem to be moving this odd wavy pattern. But there's one thing that remains clear, and that's the image of Jack. No one's coming to help you. I'm here. Let me help you. You've been pulled back into another room, into the original room you started. Yet there's something new here. You see this brazier that's in the center, and there are these large rods sitting inside, stoking. The rods themselves are bright orange, purified by fire and heat, just as the gaze of the Morning Lord. Don't worry, you'll be purified. Welcome. You see as the behemoth steps forward, and there's a large table on the side. There's a needle for threading, and there is this small little dainty silver chain, and in the center a medallion of the Morning Lord. Alongside of it, a large piece of iron. You hear as the captain walks to the side, pushing the metal. You hear it clinking against each other. You know, you are the first I have met that can perform the devil's music. It seems we must take away that ability. You should strap back down in the chair. He opens your mouth with this mechanism that begins to stretch. It sits at the bottom and top sides of your mouth, pushing it higher and higher. He slots the iron into it and then lowers your mouth again. Your lips wrap around this metal slab as he steps forward with that needle and the chain. This will be used to sew your lips shut. And then the symbol of the Morning Lord will be melted and burned into your flesh. You'll remove your ability. No longer will you sing these songs, or he lifts up your book, or tell these tales of the devil. I hope you're prepared. Jack grabs the sides of you. Please, please, let me help you. You must be able to tell your story. You must be able to sing your songs. The Morning Lord will not help you here. I can. I'm here. I just want to help you.
I won't kill someone.
You don't have to. I'll do it.
The blood will still be on my hands.
He looks utterly dejected as he slinks to the back. Your head is wrenched backwards as the needle is entered into the top lip. Blood pours as he pushes through to your bottom, and he begins to weave. You then hear a ruckus outside. You hear someone yell, "What the hell is this?" The guard captain turns around and looks back to the behemoth. You continue. I'll see what's wrong. The door opens, then closes with the guard captain leaving. Arthur, what do you do here?
Wait, what's her name?
What do you do here? What's the plan?
I mean, there is no plan. I'm not gonna let Jack kill on my behalf, and Lithral's too. He's too tired to fight. He don't want to. If this is what is to happen to him, then he just hopes that his faith will carry him through death. And that's just, it's the only thing he's really holding out for.
Your prayers, you're wishing your faith holds you close and tight as continues to thread through your lips with the chain and needle. As you're watching, you see as Jack is not here now. Jack is gone. You've made your choice. Let me leave you there for now. Meanwhile, you can hear the man screaming from within the darkness. You feel just as he's gonna roll a attack with disadvantage. Okay. You can feel the wind of his blade swing past your face, Lumiere. He's struggling in this darkness. But then you also hear the corridor, further down the corridor, another door close. It sounds like someone may be approaching.
I want to get out of the darkness, and so if I can do that by going towards the sound of someone else coming in here, that's what I want to do.
Okay. You remember what exactly the room looked like when you first came in here. You put your hand against the wall to help guide you out. You feel another whiff of a sword. As it just passes you, instinctively you duck down. And as you bring your way out of the darkness, you see standing before you, guard captain. Looks down upon you. And who are you?
I am a friend of the one you have taken. And I am taking him back.
His face draws upwards as he looks down upon you. So, more reprobates have shown themselves. Then it's good that I brought him in, like bees to honey.
He's an armored up dude, right?
Oh, yes.
I would like to cast heat metal on him.
Ooh. Please do.
So I'll still just do it at second level. But...
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I never remember how it works. I think it just works. Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah. 6 fire damage.
6 fire damage. Yeah.
But it continues.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, how does your heat metal look?
Yeah, so as in keeping with the usual, I have one of my lenses flipped out, and even though there's not really any light around here to refract, you can see a thin amount of light stretch from me to him, and where it does, it just the unbelievably quickly it makes the metal begin to glow red hot, and that spreads all around the object, the armor.
You do so as it splashes against him, and just he starts to he's like, as he's trying to like pull at his armor, he looks up at you and he's gonna make a Constitution saving throw, even though it doesn't matter with this armor. His Constitution saving throw is high, so you watch this. You see, he kind of steels himself. You see, he's still in an immense amount of pain. He steels himself as you can smell the flesh burning. Silly girl. I was purified long ago. He draws the sword out. You can see it glistening in the darkness. You briefly jump to Benedict. What are you doing? Whilst in this darkness, this man is swinging wildly in here. Disadvantage. It's a 19. Take 7 points of slashing damage as he manages to catch you just on your shoulder, swinging wildly in this darkness.
Oh god. It is so hard to not just hit somebody when you're trying to be stealthy about it.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, the Pass Without a Trace is gone.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disengage from
Okay.
the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Prioritizing finding Lithral, and I come out of the darkness, kind of like trying to see into the door that the captain just left out of.
Oh, you would have to go past the captain. So as you come out of the darkness, you see Lumiere standing there, her lens still up and raised as the captain has drawn his sword. He turns to you. So an actual devil has showed his face today. You see, he's kind of like trying to deal with the flames, the burning as his flesh is singeing. He looks like a badass, but he stands there. What do you do?
Okay. If he just called me a devil, and an actual devil, and not even just like a tiefling, he called me a devil. So how much is it to hit the guy with my shotgun?
Wait, the AC?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta try.
Oh, that was a bad roll. Fuck. I suppose that a 13 wouldn't hit with all his armor.
Mm-mm.
God damn it. Fuck. Oh wait, I have an extra attack. I'm so smart. Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm gonna make it a smite while I'm at it.
Okay.
So that is going to be a bunch of d8s. So that's 3d. Okay, let's start with the damage. I am so bad at playing this game. So let's start. Okay, so that's we're starting off with just the 7 damage of the shotgun with an additional. Wait, where's it? Fuck, I have. Being a paladin is really hard. You have so much dice to deal. Nice. Plus an additional 16 plus 6. So an additional 22 damage. So all in all, 29 damage.
Nice. You want to...
Because I shot this fucker right in the face.
Yeah.
And hellish flames envelop his head.
Nice. You dash up and he erupts as his head blasts back, and the heat begins to surround his face. As it does so, you hear him scream slightly, and then you see this glow begin to push through the flame. As it does, his body is completely glowing. How quaint. Friends of the reprobate uses flames. Well, it seems we will deal with you first before finishing off your friend. You hear him as he says that. He raises his hand and snaps his fingers. Lithral, As you're in there, your lips sewn shut, the radiating orange from the hot iron close to your face. As he brings it close, you feel the heat begin to kiss your flesh before the iron is pulled back, and you hear the snap. He throws down the iron as it hits the floor. He turns around. The behemoth rushes through the door. You watch as the door behind the captain explodes open, and this behemoth completely eclipses the flickering flame from the corridor here, just in shadow. You see as the behemoth is standing just behind him. As this glow begins to wreath his hand, and this large maul apparates into his grip. You hear repentance. And then behind you, you hear the door blast open. Suddenly, as you hear Ack hits with Ack. And at that point, we will end this session.
No,
Moon isn't here. I meant Ack hits with axe. Sorry. But we will end the session here for now. Because Moon isn't here, I think Moon should be here for this boss fight.
Oh yeah, sure.
But we come to MVPs. We start with Joe is a jellyfish. Your MVP.
I mean, Literal taking it like a champ.
Taking it like a champ.
Yeah. I just need to know what the fuck is the deal with that Jack boy is, because that is some creepy shit. Like I knew there's a deal with a child named Jack. I kind of inferred that. I didn't imagine it to be this creepy. Obviously, Lumiere's badassery knows no limits, and it goes again today.
Cowboy shit! Cowboy shit!
Cowboy shit. And yeah, I mean that it was a nice session. It was nice.
A nice session.
Ava. It was nice. It was a lovely session. We had a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish Moon were here for us to beat the shit out of this captain, because I really want to.
Yep, I'm glad you have fun. Jodai.
I think the hole that was clawed by someone trying to claw the way out on the way back. Just 'cause, I mean, yeah, you put those little kind of things everywhere, but I just hadn't been thinking of that one. It was just sort of, on the way back. You know what I mean? Like, I'd already been through that area, but it was like, oh no, you notice new details on the way back out. But yeah, I mean, also, no doubt, just Josh's commitment to just being like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be stuck in this situation for 2 hours of a session. Not even like the in-character sort of thing, but just the sort of going, no, I'm just gonna keep saying this same shit over and over again. 'Cause that's how he feels.
I love that. And finally, for the man of the hour, Josh.
Well, obviously, the New York Goth Rat is really high up there. It was just really fun. Like, this session, I knew going in was going to be really difficult. But I didn't expect it to be difficult in the way it turned out to be, because I mean, so much of it was me wrestling with myself what to do, because I want to be like, yeah, I'm escaping, or I'll take the knife and kill him, or I'll let Jack kill them for me. But then I was fighting with myself because I'm like, Literal wouldn't do that, and Literal has yet to kill anyone and wouldn't, and and it was this kind of this like forcing myself to accept it because I'm a kind of D&D player that hates the thought of any of my characters dying and like will run away at the slightest chance of the sight of death. So like trying to like force myself to just like accept it was so challenging. And yeah, so really my MVP is props to Kira for, you know, making me go through this.
Yeah. If they were a second late, your mouth would have been welded shut. But they're here now, and they did what they did.
So all our mouths can be welded shut.
Yes, everyone can be silent because you're all reprobates, and you all deserve to be purified. Josh, you're taking it like a champ. Thanks a lot. You lived through beautifully. To everyone not taking the Strahd deal, I was like, okay, I think someone's gonna take this deal. Which I would have loved to play that part out because woo boy, I had a whole separate thing planned for that.
Your only mistake for me to not take this deal is for Madame Ava to say, not to trust or believe anyone, just like that. And like, the moment that Madame Ava said that, you basically killed the Strahd deal for Benedict. Otherwise, he would have absolutely have taken it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have let the whole deal come to if both parties didn't say it. But if you guys did go through the deal, Ismark would have left. Ismark would have left. Yeah, he would have left. But yeah, I had a whole separate shit plan for that deal. Josh, not taking Jack's deal. I know it was hard.
Literally, I mean, when Jack was like, "Oh, who's gonna tell my story?" Like my heart broke because I was like, "I want to keep going." But yeah, just literal's not like me in that sense. So.
Jack's not done though, but yeah, not taking Jack's deal. And with that, I guess the only thing left to say is, you say goodbye.
I can't even say.
Stay safe, guys. Don't wander into like random town squares and do some taboo shit that gets your mouth welded.
You know what? If that's the moral of the story, don't help no one ever, and you're set.
Maybe just check if the local jail has a pile of corpses out back before you decide whether to jaywalk or not. You know.
Respect local customs. That's that's the moral of the story.
Sweet dreams.